welcome back to some more sports talk, baby. So for today's video, I went through each and every NFL team and asked one question for the upcoming season. Now that we're in the off season, there's so many things that could happen, so we're going to break it down. One question that I have for each NFL team. So first, we're going to be starting off with the AFC and the NFC East. So the one question I have for the Buffalo Bills, can you improve the defense this offseason? Josh Allen has obviously proved to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He just won MVP over Lamar Jackson, which I think it should have been Lamar Jackson. That's just my opinion. But after this season, we saw that the Bills defense just is not sustainable at all. That defense is horrible. To be fair, they have been dealing with some injuries, but they are not nearly as elite as that Bills offense. If I'm them, I try to make a push for a guy like Myles Garrett, who just requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. He does not want to be there anymore. He wants to be on a team. He wants to win. So if they could do a swap, Myles Garrett for like Von Miller, contract somewhat balance out. Von Miller's old. He's not going to be in the league for much longer, and his production is just not it, man. Myles Garrett could help this Bills pass rush, which is desperately what they need. Next, I got the Miami Dolphins. Is Tyreek Hill going to stay? I mean, Tyreek Hill is still one of the best wide receivers in the league. As soon as the season ended, he said that whole BS thing about, oh, I'm out, which apparently was taken out of context. I don't think it's taken out of context. I think he wants to go. With Tua Tagovailoa just not staying healthy, that just tanks Tyreek Hill's production, and we have seen that. When a backup quarterback is in, when Tyler Huntley and the brief Skylar Thompson stuff happened, Tyreek Hill was horrible. He sucked. But when Tua came back, he kind of like found his spark again. He found his footing. So I don't know. Miami has kind of been this experiment of mid. They have been so mid ever since Tyreek came. They seem to have a lot of faith in Tua, which Tua is okay. I don't think he's a great quarterback. I would say he's definitely like middle of the pack in the middle of the league. But if his head slams on the ground one more time, he's going to be walking around like a Call of Duty zombie. And if I'm Tyreek, I can't keep putting up with this yearly basis of Tua slamming his head on the floor like it's like LeBron dribbling a basketball. So if I'm Tyreek, I kind of stand on business. Trade me, put me on a contending team. I want to win. Or he could be a New York Giant. Just saying. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Next, I have the New York Jets. Who the hell is your quarterback? With Aaron Rodgers gone, what are you going to do? Are you going to make a free agency move? Are you going to try to trade for somebody? Are you going to maybe sign a quarterback if there is any quarterbacks in free agency? Or are you just going to deal with what you got, bridge to next year's quarterback class? Because next year's quarterback class is probably going to be way better than this year's. What are you going to do? The Jets have just been in the cycle of mid quarterback to mid quarterback to mid quarterback to mid quarterback. It's just like an endless cycle of mid. I mean, you haven't made the playoffs in what, like 15 years? Like, you gotta do something. Maybe Aaron Glenn helps with whatever quarterback you have or you're going to get. He's a great coach. He's not necessarily an offensive-minded coach, but he's a great coach. I think he can elevate this team. Or you just go back to the classic Jets, where they look good for maybe like 2 weeks in the beginning, and then they just descend into this dark realm of depression, like they usually do. And for the final AFC East team, I have the New England Patriots. I mean, what are you going to do on draft day? How are you going to perform on draft day? I heard sources saying that they're shopping the number 4 pick. If I'm them, I just try to beef up that defensive line to protect Drake May. Drake May is a great player. He had a great rookie season. He can make these crazy plays, but he just needs more time in the pocket. If he has more time in the pocket, I think he could be a pretty solid quarterback for years to come. I either shop that number 4 pick and pick up some good offensive linemen, look for solid wide receivers, look for like Deebo Samuel, maybe Cooper Kupp, maybe T. Higgins, just to give Drake May that option. Because New England, I feel like their rebuild is starting to become successful, but they're still not nearly on the tier of competing. They're still not a good team at all. They have so many holes to fill, but they have a lot of flexibility with the number 4 pick. Whether they keep it or decide to trade it, that's up to them. I think they could make a pretty good push here. Now, onto the NFC side of things, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, the question is, are you going to go back to the Super Bowl? Pretty self-explanatory. If they manage to keep most of their defensive players, they have a real shot at going back to back. I know Zach Bond, he's a free agent. A lot of teams have interest in him, and considering the season that he just had, he's going to get the bag, man. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Josh Sweat is a free agent as well. If they can manage to keep Josh Sweat too, but we'll see. I mean, they don't have to make that many changes. They kind of just have to throw money at their defensive guys and hope that they stay. Now, on to the Dallas Cowboys. Oh boy. The reason I wake up every morning is to hate on this team. And every night before I lay my head on that pillow, I think, wow, the Cowboys suck. So my question for them is it time to just blow it up? Dak stinks. He's wildly overrated. Can't stay healthy, and you could see that. He's had multiple seasons now since he got drafted where he's missed most of the year. I mean, your coaching quality is going down significantly. Everybody's saying, including me, that Schottenheimer was the worst head coach signing this whole offseason so far, and I completely agree. I don't think that he's a good coach at all. He's not a good coach. And Jerry Jones is the most stubborn human being in the world. If I'm Dallas, I riot, to be honest. Jerry Jones sucks, and he's lazy, he's stubborn, he has this old way of thinking, and that old way of thinking, it doesn't work, bro. This is not the 90s. They still have to pay Micah Parsons, which it may or may not happen. Who knows? With Jerry Jones, you never know. Zach Martin just retired. You know, one of the best offensive linemen of all time. They don't have a good rushing attack. Like, their running back sucks. Rico Dowdle stinks in terms of rushing. They don't have good options. They don't have a great wide receiver too. CeeDee Lamb, I mean, he's a stud and all, but it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to trade him too. They're in huge trouble. And honestly, the season that they have a worse record than the Giants, I'm throwing something on the grill, boy. I'm throwing a banger. We're gonna have a good time. Now, on to my New York Giants. Oh my God. I have so many things to say about this team, but for the sake of time, I'm only going to say one question. Are you going to trade for a quarterback, or are you going to draft one? The Giants currently hold the number 3 pick. There were talks for Matthew Stafford, but those talks are gone. Apparently, he's staying in LA, so that's done. I know they were thinking about Aaron Rodgers, and for the love of everything holy, if Aaron Rodgers is on my football team, I'm going to take my fist and just punch the wall as hard as I possibly can. I'm going to be playing Frogger on a busy highway, dude. I cannot deal with Aaron Rodgers. I really can't. With Tennessee, they don't even know who they're going to take at number 1, and I heard rumors that the Giants might try to trade the number 1, which is valid. That would be perfect. If we can get either Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, I'm cool with that. Or even if we end up getting Travis Hunter and we just bridge to next year and get a quarterback, I'm cool with that too, I guess. If there's so many holes on this team, it's hard to kind of just point out one, but quarterback is like top priority. You want to get your guy early, so I'm hoping we do that. Offensive line, they stink. Evan Neal is probably one of the worst offensive linemen I've ever seen in my whole entire life. Out of 24 years of existence, I've never seen an offensive lineman get drafted that high and just consistently be ass and have front office and management have so much faith in him, bro. But the dude can't block a draft from coming in through the window. Like, he sucks. Andrew Thomas is great. He's a good lineman, but he gets hurt so much and so much pressure relies on him. It's hard for him to stay healthy, bro. He needs help. He needs other linemen to help, and he's constantly playing out of position. It's just, it doesn't work. Now, on the other side of the ball, I mean, our front 7 is okay. My biggest issue with the front 7 is Kayvon Thibodeau. Oh my God, we drafted him so high, and like each year he just doesn't improve, man. It makes me want to do a backflip off of a building or something. He's really butt juice. He's booty butt cheeks. I hope that he ends up proving me wrong. I don't know if it's because there's inconsistent coaching and he can't learn the system, or if he's just trash. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the Giants, but at this point, I don't really think I want to know. Finally, we have the Washington Commanders, which besides Philly, they're in the best position to win. My question for them is, are you going to make any big-time trades for big-time players? Jonathan Allen apparently is being shopped. He's not going to come back most likely. They could really use that pass rush. Their defense was not very good last year, and who knows? I mean, if there were a top 10 defense, a top 8 defense, they probably could have made that Super Bowl, to be completely honest. I mean, playing against a division rival is one thing in the playoffs, but playing against the Eagles, I mean, that's like a defensive nightmare. And with that defense, they could not contain them at all. They had like 50 points dropped on them, dude. So if I'm them, I try to make the push for Myles Garrett. He's on the market. He's the biggest name available right now, and he's still a top 2-3 defensive end in the league. He can elevate this team to potentially get past Philly in the future. But with that concludes part 1 of one question for every NFL team. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe. Let me know if you have any other comments, questions, concerns about any of these teams, AFC or NFC East. But on that note, catch you guys in the next video. See you.